to the Cyprus Party Parliamentary group. You're all very welcome. It's sexy to see so many of you, which tells its own story actually on this issue of Famagusta. It's the first time that I think a parliamentary group or meeting has met to particularly focus on the issue of Famagusta. Certainly the issue of Famagusta has appeared in debates and colleagues over a number of years, and it's good to welcome former colleagues as well as colleagues here present today. We've had raised the issue, and it's been a matter of concern, obviously, for all those present. But it's the first time that we've been able to have the opportunity to specifically look at this issue, and that's why I particularly very much welcome Famagusta Galant. You're very welcome to address us today, together with the chairman of the Famagusta Association. You're also very welcome. The purpose of this meeting is to hear from the mayor and chairman, and also to hear from yourselves and those who from the Association of Famagusta who will no doubt be able to give their own particular experiences and their particular perspective. The point of the meeting also is to be able to help inform parliamentarians so that we can take the issue up further beyond the meeting. The all-party group does not exist just for the sake of meetings. We've all been on many meetings around issues around Cyprus. It's also very much the case that we're taking up issues after meetings, and so there is a group of parliamentarians dedicated to the issue of Famagusta and wanting to take matters further informally with the government and to pursue that interest and to carry on the course of Famagusta to ensure that, as you'll say, it's not a hidden issue. So I very much want to, on your behalf, welcome the chairman and mayor. We were planning to have, and we still going to have, a visual presentation. It'll take a little time because we've moved, as you know, from given the level of interest to a much more comfortable room that we've managed to fill as well. And perhaps next time when we meet to discuss Famagusta, we go for an even larger committee room and meet the challenge of that. Absolutely, Famagusta itself. But without further ado, I would like to first of all ask the chairman to address the meeting.
Right, honourable members of the All-Party Parliamentary Committee for Cyprus, High Commissioner of Cyprus to the United Kingdom, distinguished guests, fellow citizens of Famagusta, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the All-Parliamentary Group of MPs, its convener, Mr. David Barrows, in particular, for giving us the opportunity to present the plight of the ghost town of Famagusta on the eastern coast of the island of Cyprus. Famagusta, or Varosha as it is otherwise known, was overrun by the advancing forces of the Turkish army in the 1974 invasion of Cyprus, as the town was abandoned by its inhabitants in the wake of the advancing forces, fleeing the town in fear for their lives. The town was immediately hermetically sealed by the occupying forces, which erected a 2-meter-high perimeter fence of barbed wire and barrels, and remains so to this day. 37 years on, the town remains desolate and empty of its inhabitants, with its infrastructure crumbling and decaying from the merciless action of the elements. Back in 1974, Famagusta was the home of 42,000 people and constituted the main centre for tourism, trade and culture on the island. Its hotels accounted for over 50% of the total tourist bed availability in Cyprus, whilst its port handled more than 80% of the total cargo and almost 50% of the total passenger traffic. The port of Famagusta was the export point of most of the citrus fruit, potatoes and carrots grown in the district, produce which became so well known and popular with the British consumers. The return of Famagusta to its rightful owners is one of the prerequisites to to any long-lasting solution to the Cyprus problem that is reached between the two communities. Yet, Turkish Premier Tayyip Erdogan, in his recent visit to the self-styled Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, declared that Famagusta will never be returned to the Greek Cypriots. We have with us the mayor of Famagusta, who is going to put the case for the return of our town. Mr. Alexis Alanos obtained a master's in economics and sociology from Cambridge University. He also studied law and is a barrister at law of the Inner Temple. He was elected member of the House of Representatives 5 times during the period 1981 to 1996 and served as President of the House between 1991 and 1996. He has chaired many parliamentary committees and headed the parliamentary delegation of Cyprus in the Council of Europe and the Interparliamentary Union for many years. He has also been chairman of the Joint Parliamentary European Cyprus Committee and head of the Cyprus Parliament delegation of the Organization for Security and Cooperation. Until his election as mayor, he was a member of the board of the Central Bank of Cyprus. Before his speech, however, we invite you to watch a short film on Famagusta, what the town was like back in 1974 and what it is like today. Thank you.
Is that going to be possible? Yes, I think so. If you can just switch the audio, perhaps here firstly from the mayor, and we'll in the meantime set up the audiovisual presentation.
Well, Famagusta talks himself, but now I have to talk before Famagusta. Well, I don't think the speech is not that someone to what the guy is here.
We don't mind.
Yeah, but the camera man. Well, people they see. I would like to say the thing. Unless you put it on the top. No, we are not going to do. He said that we have to wait to finish and put this on. All right. Mr. Chairman, I see a lot of old friends here. I'd like to thank you for coming to attend this session, which I consider very important. We're now about 37 years after we left our beloved town of Famagusta. At the time, we were feeling that we would return within a day or two, within a week. After a month, we left only with the luggage because Famagusta was outside the so-called Athena plan. So we were expecting from day to day to return to our town. Unfortunately, days became months became years, 5, 10, 37 years, and Famagusta, the most beautiful town of Cyprus, is now a ghost town, a town of ruins, a town that is rotting, dead to the world, returning back to the elements of nature. I would also say a testament of the intentions of Turkey, because I cannot really imagine any European country would have allowed this situation to develop. My own feeling, as a European, not as a citizen of Cyprus, that what's happening on the question of Famagusta is tantamount to a crime of war at a time of peace. And I would like to remind you that Famagusta is kept closed as a Turkish military zone. It's not occupied. That area from Famagusta is by Turkish citizens. It's occupied by Turkish troops. Now you will ask, what is a mayor of Famagusta? The first question they asked me when they left the town, they were about 45,000 tons. Out of the 30,000 tons, it was about 65%, 30,000 plus gold. Now, what the mayor of Famagusta is doing? The mayor of Famagusta is an ambassador, to say in English, at large. Mr. Ambassador, I'm not going to do it. But I'm projecting the question of Famagusta. We have collected signatures immediately after the election of the mayor. We did it like a military operation. We have 24 points assigned. We will go to the 5th edition. Requesting the return of Famagusta. Requesting the implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolution to the European Union. Requesting the guarantee of powers. To take steps on the return. And of course, declaring our wish that we will continue struggling to fight this war, to get back to our town. We did this campaign to show that after the Arab plan, our people were organized. And our people wanted to return, irrespective of how they wanted there, that was over, running over, and we wanted to go back. So the mayor is projecting the signatures. There are 2 big volumes which we presented to the European Parliament. At the time, the President of the European Parliament was Chancellor. We had a session there. The ceremony in Brussels where we did, we presented them in the American Congress, and we presented to many other parts of the world, and we also presenting photographs of Famagusta, and we do everything in our power to keep a ghost town alive, and also to keep the social fabric of the town alive, and the young people from Famagusta close to us, not forgetting that this town belongs to us, and that we are not a museum or a museum piece, but we are an alive organization. We are the government in exile, our people feel they are in exile, and they are going to return, and we are fighting to return back to our town. I would like, when I talk about Famagusta, the first offering, we must not forget that this represents only about 20% of the original municipal boundaries of Famagusta of the 1974. The biggest part of the unfenced area has already been settled by settlers for them. There is a gray area there still, but I would say that Famagusta, as you know, the biggest part, argued with us, argued with members in other areas, have already been colonized. Famagusta has always been a focal point because of the special status as a coast town converted station. Famagusta was proposed to be returned by the American, Canadian, and British plan. Immediately with the start of the talks in 1978, Famagusta was part of the high-level agreement between Mr. Kiprianou and Bektash. And Mr. Bektash at the time agreed for the priority of returning Famagusta. And of course, he did not keep his word. Then we got, in 1984, all important 550 Security Council resolution, stating very clearly that Famagusta should be returned under the United Nations auspices to its lawful inhabitants. That was repeated by another equally strong resolution of the United Nations Security Council, 789, which was voted in 1992. Then we had resolutions of the Council of Europe. And then, of course, the last 2 years, we have paragraphs on the progress report objective, stating clearly that the priority for Famagusta should be respected, and the resolution 55789 should be implemented. Unfortunately, Turkey are not feeling the pressure of returning the town of Famagusta because of Turkey's geopolitical role, because of the economic importance, maybe because its playing a role in the NATO alliance. Everybody keeps, I would say, double standards as far as the implementation of United Nations resolutions and the rule of law by Turkey. So we see a paradox. Turkey violating clearly United Nations Security Council resolutions, and this does not hinder Turkey becoming chairman of the Security Council. Turkey violating human rights in Cyprus and knocking at the door of Europe to join Europe. Turkey talking about the blockade of Gaza, very nasty to the Arab people, and blockading, and at the same time is blocking and blocking Famagusta and blocking the citizens of Famagusta to return back to their town. Turkey is a champion against illegal immigration. And Cyprus now is full of illegal immigrants, and in fact, they constitute the majority in the north under occupation. Turkey is a bastion of peace, participating in the operation against Afghanistan. In Afghanistan. Is the keeper of the peace. Is the keeper of the keys of Kabul. And yet, Turkey has an occupation army inside. I don't want to say anything further because our effort is to sensitize the international community. In this effort, we have addressed lately, I have addressed a letter to Mr. Erdogan. We have the points here. David. Putting the case for Famagusta, asking for the understanding of Mr. Erdogan, and explaining the benefits that will accrue to everybody concerned, because Famagusta can be confident, the return of Famagusta, a confidence building measure. One can imagine what can really happen when we start rebuilding Famagusta. What kind of activity we see there between Greek Cyprus and Turkish Cyprus? What kind of momentum can be created? What kind of vision we can have of a metropolis for the whole area of 500,000 people? Our young architects a few months ago had a kind of competition among them of presenting a futuristic Famagusta, and I was really impressed because after seeing the kind of Famagusta they were really dreaming of, our young people, I saw the misery relief, and we were obliged to live with old images, and we cannot capture the image of the new Famagusta, where can become a laboratory of peace. In fact, even before addressing this letter to Mr. Erdogan, we have requested through the President of Cyprus, from the Secretary General, to request the Turkish Cypriots, and particularly Ankara, to allow, simply allow, experts from the United Nations or experts from Europe to enter the first of area and start making a survey of how to rebuild the town. Even this very simple move of goodwill from the part of Turkey will not respect. They think that Famagusta is a bait. They keep Famagusta as a kind of blackmail for the rest of Cyprus. And they don't realize that as long as the situation in Famagusta continues, Turkey will be very difficult to be convincing that can become European. They create a boomerang because even people in Cyprus who want a solution with the attitude of Turkey over this post town, they start thinking that there is not much hope left. I don't know whether this is the policy, but the continuous occupation of the town of Famagusta is counterproductive for Turkey and is counterproductive for the NFD. Mr. Chairman, I think I talked a little more than I should. I only want to say one thing. They asked me why, at the end of my political life, after being President of the House of Representatives, so many years, Member of Parliament, so many other things, why I have chosen to be Mayor of Famagusta. Let me say that for me it's an honor, very honorable, to find as a mayor of a post town. have in mind that there is another town with windmills like Famagusta, and this is La Mancha. So maybe don't big souls are born not only in Spain, but in Cyprus. Famagusta, as we said before, the means Amogustos, hidden under the sun. For many years, unfortunately, Famagusta was hidden under the carpet. I'm here with the hope that there will be sensibility from the part of Britain. And I have no doubt at all from my experience that the United Kingdom can have a forceful voice, if you wish, towards Turkey. And I think that the United Kingdom can be convincing as to the wisdom from the part of Turkey to start moving on the question of Famagusta. So let me thank you for your support, which is invaluable. And thank you very much, and your colleagues, for standing by us and fighting with us something which is true, genuine, and beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex, and thank you for your words. As we know, pictures tell 1,000 words, and I think we now have the opportunity to watch the presentation.
Thank you.
And then we'll open up to a question and discussion. Thank you very much. Well, now let's move quickly on to questions and answers. There's a vote coming up in 19 minutes. So now, please. Yes, Nick.
First of all, thank you very much indeed for that very excellent presentation. Can I just ask, the film still suggesting that Famagusta should be a confidence-building measure as part of the solution. Do you feel that that is still the case, or will it be now the goal to be part of the total solution? And what are your hopes for the talks at the end of the month in New York in relation to Famagusta?
Well, I'm very glad we have an overall solution to Cyprus problem. And the overall solution to the Cyprus problem is much more important than anything else. But unfortunately, there are no real hopes for the talks. We have the feeling that Turkey, Ankara, are very intelligent. There is a kind of new attitude. We had expected that after the elections in Turkey and the strengthening of Mr. Erdogan, we would see a more magnanimous understanding. Erdogan would make more decisive steps toward towards Europe. The opposite happened. We see a very arrogant Erdogan suffering from hubris and is getting there, and they're very ready to go. The latest attitude of Turkey towards the oil exploration of Cyprus, exercising its sovereign rights, is very indicative of the attitude of Turkey. And one can only smile, thinking that Turkey is trying to share any oil work implicating in the name of Turkish Cypriots, and they forget the plundering and what's happening in Famagusta, in the other parts of Cyprus and all that. I think that the latest attitude of Turkey doesn't leave much scope for hope. And I'd like to make it very clear that it's not a problem of the two communities. The Turkish Cypriots do not have the ability to reach a decision, even if they wanted a solution. I can only tell you and remind you of the problems the Turkish Cypriots had even in the Turkish administration a few months ago, when they started, when they had to make some economies. And Ankara started limiting the amounts given for the continuation for the civil service must start with some confident measures, and I think that the Famagusta case can reverse the whole attitude, can create a new dynamic that we cannot imagine. It would be very fortunate to have a solution in the pressure Famagusta to be there together with others, but unfortunately, I don't see it.
Can I just add to the question? In terms of, you make a case in the letters here about how you see that Famagusta is, the opportunity is for it to be a bridgehead to East French collaboration, and that it provides an opportunity to bring the two communities closer together. Have you had any contact or understanding from the communities across the board, from the Cyprus communities as well, in terms of their view about the issue of Famagusta being dealt with ahead of comprehensive settlement?
Yeah, David, I met on quite a few occasions with Turkish Cypriot mayor. They are from Augusta, and I would say they are from Augusta. They are the keepers of the keys of the medieval town. There used to be about 5,000 Turkish Cypriot villages in the medieval town. Now there are about 15,000. They have taken the area around. So with Mr. Kayal, we had a very good case. He's a good man. His good intention. We went together to Paris, and we helped him to get UNESCO help to restore the stones of Famagusta. But we stopped there. There is a kind of understanding we'd like to have from him that together with restoring the architectural heritage, we must restore also people to their homes, and we must restore human rights. Even if he wanted to help, it's very clear that he doesn't have a voice to do it. So, in case Turkey decides to move, I'm sure that in the face of Mr. Kayat, the Turkish Cypriot mayor, we will find a good man to cover. But he's not a decision maker, and he's afraid to raise his voice together with us with the return of Famagusta. This is their plan.
In your in the case of concern Famagusta, reference is made in October 2010, a group of 16 Turkish businessmen and professionals issued a declaration on corruption calling for its return to the owners and UN supervision, the opening of the Famagusta port to the EU supervision to act as a catalytic effect, creating synergy for a comprehensive settlement. Has that, and we've made reference to the protests and concerns from Turkish Cypriots in terms of has that been built upon? Now we're a year on from that.
Well, we talked with the Turkish Cypriot business people. Some of them are genuine. Some others were very disappointed. We had a meeting at the Leader Palace with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry from Turkish Cypriot side, our Chamber of Commerce, and the two mayors were in attendance. So a few of them, when they talk about the opinion of Famagusta, they are talking about the opinion of Famagusta and the Turkish Cypriot administration. Our reply, maybe it was very clear. No way. No way. Nobody will go and invest, start his life again, unless he goes back to Famagusta, which was always understood, and the Greek Cypriot administration. We will not, for the sake of Famagusta, we are not prepared, I make it very clear, at least as long as a mayor of Famagusta, to recognize a Turkish Cypriot entity just to get the return of us, or our Famagusta. We are not going to play this game. We are not going to play the game of two Cyprus, northern and southern Cyprus. This is out of the cards. And there will be no kind of blackmail or return of any power to play this card because we believe it will be disastrous if we have this legal separation of Cyprus. I know some people feel that itself. But in this book, I don't think that the interest of the Cyprus people and the interest of the stability of the area dictates such a solution of the issue. So, Famagusta, we want to go back to Famagusta under our administration so that we can develop Famagusta. Turkey Cyprus, they have their part of the town. Together, we can envisage a whole area of how can be put together. And from there, we can start the rebuilding of the whole of Cyprus and the reunification. But this kind of semi-solutions, or rather Turkey Cyprus, for reorganizing that administration, again, no way.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since it's not unusual, we hear one-sided misrepresentation of a Cyprus whose history only began in 1974. It might be interesting when I hear and there talk about a liaison between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots to look at what happened at Christmas 1963. And throughout that period, up until I will ask a question, I'll give you a background. And up until that particular, and until that, nobody interrupted you, so let me, up until that time, when in fact the idea of the Greek Cypriots was to purge every Turkish Cypriot from the island, that's when the trouble started. And I acknowledge what you say about Mr. Denktash having agreed that in fact Famagusta would be restored to Greek Cypriots. But every bargain has two sides. He also said that as part of that, Greek-Turkish Cypriots had to have a terminal at the airport. So you're smiling, you recognize the proof of it. They had to have a terminal in the airport so that they could move in and out of Cyprus.
What the question is?
Now my question is, did you agree to allow Turkish Cypriots freedom to fly in and out of the airport? And since the answer obviously is no, is it like every other agreement, including the Annan Plan, where Greek Cypriots said no because they thought they would meet a few fools throughout Europe who would swallow a pack of lies?
Mr. Mustafa, sit down.
Respond to that, we just keep the focus on Famagusta, particularly.
Now, let's keep the focus on the truth, Mr. Chairman. I come here, I haven't had my say in terms of you changing my question. The reality is that I come here month after month to hear thugs threaten me. To hear thugs threaten me. I will not be threatened. Let the mayor answer the question.
All of these, everyone of us, you please sit down. Please sit down.
Who is the gentleman? Okay. I respect the fact that you are obviously a friend of game of power. I have a great respect for game of power, but I will not reply to the usual suspects.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here in this chamber, in this House of Parliament, that I will protect these. I am not coming to hear a one-sided propaganda exercise.
You have liberty to leave and not listen to it any further. Please sit down. With the remaining
Are you not ashamed? Are you not ashamed?
Andres.
From where you come?
I'd like to reply to you. Whatever atrocities one community did against each other, they cannot be compared
cannot deny that from the Kosovo, one McGuinness left Parliament. Would the Cyprus problem probably be solved once the McGuinness of Cyprus was by the side?
I don't want to refer to previous questioners. Let's pick up the questions about Famagusta. Yes, Famagusta says it.
Good evening. Basically, I'd like to refer to Lord McGuinness's comments. Basically,
please can we focus on the opportunity? We hear Lord McGuinness a lot.
I'll be very brief. I'll be very brief. It's the prerogative of Lord McGuinness to say exactly what he likes. But at the end of the day, his words are in conflict with the official policy of the United Kingdom government for which he is a member.
No.
Rubbish. Unfortunately, well, you are a member of the legal establishment. I
must insist, please, can we ask a question to the people who are here, and let's not talk about previous questioners or questions. It really is a distraction.
Well,
we need to talk about Famagusta.
With due respect, Mr. President.
Please, personal questions? Questions about Famagusta? Please.
We'll get diverted.
Please, yes.
Mr. Mayor, you made an interesting observation in your speech that the continuing occupation of Famagusta is a continuing war crime. In this day and age, those who perpetrate war crimes get dragged up to international court of justice, and there's quite a few held in them, and there's quite a few on their way. Do you not think that instead of writing to Erdogan and Gül and asking them to have a dialogue with us, we should be threatening them, or certainly the question on favourable European Union states to bring them up before the international court of justice as perpetrators of war crimes, together with their paid apologists who support their arguments for them?
Well, I would prefer an expression which I don't think is very much famous here in England. I use the word appease. Up to now, and I'm not talking about this government only, our successive governments in Cyprus were following a policy of appeasement towards Turkey, showing goodwill and hoping that at the end of the road, Turkey would realize how important it would be for Turkey to help reunify Cyprus. And strategically, that would be a good move for the entry of Turkey to Europe itself. Unfortunately, things are happening differently. We have a very aggressive Turkey that they don't appear. I don't know whether appearance seem to be that interested to join Europe. They are now having new directions as regards the Arab countries, the Arab Spring and the role of Turkey in the area. So I think it is time to reconsider our policy, particularly inside Europe, for the attitude of Turkey towards the European state and against European territory. And for what to say and other things, I think it must be subject to a lot of study of what moves we have to take, particularly after the threats we're having for the oil exploration.
Well, let's assume a reference to the Council of Europe. Now, Jim Sheridan, who is sat beside you, who is a great supporter of Cyprus, is in fact a member of the Council of Europe. So Jim can comment on this. Next year, the British take over the presidency. And I would suggest that you, David, because the leader of the British delegation is a Conservative member, that we work between now and the period when the British take over, that on the Political Affairs Committee of the Council of Europe, there is a report, an update on the situation in the Republic of Cyprus since the events of 1974. I was on the Council of Europe for many, many years. The last report I can remember about Cyprus came from Geoffrey Finsburg when he was the leader of the delegation, years and years ago. It really is time, David. We had a proper update with British holding the presidency, with people like Jim and other Conservative members, Roger Gell, for example, members who are great supporters of Cyprus. This is, I believe, the opportunity to really get an update on what has been happening over the last 37 years.
We obviously need to know enough colleagues who are passionately concerned in enabling 100% of the association meeting practice, and we will take this further, and we'll make sure that this issue is not in the way of being sitting under the carpet.
So we have another 10-15 minutes, if you so wish, to ask the Mayor any other questions relating to the town. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, a lot of your enlightenment elected the European Union others. What has been the response from the other countries?
I think that there is a lot of sensibility about Famagusta. There are two issues that I believe we have a lot of opportunities. There is fertile ground, to use the English expression, to proceed with. The one is Famagusta, a ghost town in Europe, and the other is the destruction of our cultural heritage. I think I have to do more. I have to do more as government, as parliament, in a more organized way. We have to pursue it more. And this, believe me, this is not a criticism of any of this government or any other government. We have to concentrate on the issues that can awaken Europe. The question of Famagusta, anywhere we go in project Famagusta, and every time people come and see Famagusta, they are really touched. The question of refugees, I don't want to discount. But, you know, after 37 years, the world is full of refugees. Now, a refugee town, a ghost town, yes, it's an issue that we can advance. Therefore, we need more work. And I say that because after 37 years, there is a natural fatigue, particularly from the part of older people. We have to connect our younger people with these issues. We have to find ways to connect our younger people, and we have to find ways in this technological world to project this issue. It's not only an issue from a view of cultural heritage and for the sake of the people from Famagusta. Famagusta is a good issue to project in Turkish occupation, in the Cyprus. It's not only aggressive diplomacy, it's also defensive diplomacy, because as long as there is Famagusta, a ghost town, as long as Turkey is behaving the way they are, it's very difficult to advance other, let's say, claims against Cyprus. It's very difficult to question the Cyprus sovereignty. It's very difficult for them to claim oil, to go against oil exploration. We have to use these arguments as part of a more general armory as regards the Cyprus issue, as long as we have a very offensive terminal. So Famagusta is not only a humanitarian issue, it's also a strategic way.
Alexei Kalsberg, welcome. Nice to see you. I'm sure we all agree here that we're sick and tired with the present state of affairs in Famagusta. A lot of resolutions, a lot of talk, no action. The only thing is about time that given the fact that there is a cross-party agreement that the United Kingdom is a guarantor on the Republic of Cyprus regarding sovereignty, independence, etc., that it's about time, especially now as my friend Tom Cox has indicated, they're going to be presidents of the European Union, for them to host some kind of a conference on Cyprus, and with a view of reunification, because it's their official policy that they want a united Cyprus. So they cannot, on the one hand, advocate united Cyprus, be guarantors of the island, and on the other, take a back seat and do nothing.
I couldn't agree more, and I would like the comments of Tom on this. There is an attitude from the part of the UK government. I have no problem of saying that. I said it already 2 days ago to the High Commission in Cyprus. Of benign neglect, as long as they are happy with their basis, the economic system and the role of Britain, I don't want to look at it negatively that they are happy that we are in the state. But I don't think they are not really very keen, the government, to promote the solution to the Cyprus. And I don't know whether we could raise, not so easy, the responsibility of UK as a guarant of power, but also where it hurts, if the question of the basis are raised.
I think, Alexei, we should come out of our cages and start being very open and blunt, because otherwise we're going to grow old and we're going to be meeting again and again and discussing the same things. I think the matter should be taken to the next level, much more high level, and I believe our Commissioner here would, if possible, in conjunction with the government, take steps to try and see whether anything can be done along those lines. Because we're getting older, nothing is being done.
Tom, would you like to
Just one brief comment on the point that's been made. Why I believe it is so essential we now start to prepare an agenda in the Political Affairs Committee of the Council of Europe is because all of us know, and certainly Alexis, the 4 countries most directly involved in the Cyprus tragedy are all members. Cyprus, Greece, the United Kingdom and Turkey. And that is the opportunity with the right rapporteur, and surely we're capable of arranging the right rapporteur, wherever he or she may come from. Turkey will be in the dock, because they cannot say we're not having anything to do with it, when they want to be a member, not only of the Council of Europe, but the European Union.
Well, if I would like to add, maybe this is my personal opinion, but a very urgent thing for us to do, besides the Council of Europe, I said, in my opinion, is to apply to join the Alliance for Peace and apply to join European defense structures. That's the only way to put pressure on them. Either we belong to a family or we don't belong to a family. You make this kind of application, then we start playing a game where Turkey is. And we start being masters of our own defense policy rather than leaving the defense policy of Cyprus outside as it is now.
There was a question by the lady there, and I understand there's a Turkish Cypriot compatriot of ours who would like to ask a question. So I would like to invite him to ask a question also. They get the back to the question.
I just wanted to ask, you mentioned earlier in this diagram about Varosha and some areas being taken and the colonists. And I just wanted you to explain a little more about that. Are we talking about the outer areas, the outer villages, or how is it? The suburbs.
Can you please give me your name? No, we are talking about neighborhoods of Famagusta. We are not talking about central Russia. We are talking about areas like Ayutthaya, Naxis, we are talking about the various neighborhoods. Like in Nicosia, you have Patriotis, you have Ayutthaya, you have Engo. So,
And they've been taken.
yeah, they have the colors, of course.
So the resolution, sorry.
The French.
So resolution 955 did it not specify the regions?
Villages, colonized area, Bogaz, etc. But we are talking about the municipal boundaries of
people to come forward and volunteer the information, and those people should be dealt with very firmly by the authorities. We're very clear about this. Okay? But I think there needs to be, in terms of more collaboration, if you're going to talk about cultural heritage, please talk about the whole island. Okay? Because it does mean it's a big issue for Turkish Cypriots as well. I know there's 400 or 500 religious sites, churches, monasteries, etc., where graveyards have been smashed, and this is absolutely not on. But equally in the south, there are 200 or so incidents as well. And if you want people to begin to communicate on a constructive level, I think if any reasonable human being can connect on this kind of level, I don't see any problems with that. So that's the only thing I'd like to do.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm one-sided. We always have tried many times, meeting with Friends of Cyprus, Turkish Cypriot, discussing things. Somehow, what's going to happen? And I don't know how to feel about it. At the end of the day, that part of Cyprus, if we don't have a solution, will become part of Turkey. Unfortunately. Now, I don't know whether the people, the Turkish Cypriots, the real Turkish Cypriots, and not the people who came from Turkey, and they're changing the demography, will be happy or unhappy, becoming part of Turkey. I think part of the so-called Greek nationalism will happen. I mean, we've had other countries. It's being absorbed by the European people. We belong to a bigger family. We have to see things in a European way. Of course, many times we prove that we are Greeks or we prove that we are Turks by our own shortcomings and not the good things of the race. But I think that whatever effort we do, the Turkish Cypriots are not really prepared to move ahead and join us as Europeans. We would like to see the European benefits, but not the obligation. I have to remind you, I mean, every Turkish Cypriot now has a passport, European passport, and an identity card, social security. All the benefits that are accruing to the citizens of Europe are given to the Turkish Cypriots. Now, when you start discussing with Turkish Cypriots of how to do that, how to join forces with Famagusta, how to join forces, there's a kind of double-edged attitude. Yeah, we do it, but under Turkish Cypriot administration. In other words, we don't move to the same direction. There may be some genuine Turkish Cypriot that would like to see federation, but my own feeling is that a lot of Turkish Cypriots are thinking of a separate entity. And the separate entity will not be. Turkey playing a double game, as you can say, in a separate entity. Absorption by Turkey eventually will happen. Separate, recognized state will not happen. So these are my views. I started losing hope that we will get together in a federal state. Due to forces that work at their side, but at work at our side, through frustration. A lot of people who are very keen for unification, they started becoming indifferent because they see this very cruel attitude of Turkey of giving anything back, making any single move that will create some hope to our people that things may happen. Turkey decided, and this is the conclusion we have reached, to cut the island and cause problems over the island. I hope I'm wrong, but this is my conclusion.
I understand that after the Second World War, Britain was instrumental in helping Europe see Germany as Germany and Germans, and not as Nazis. And in a lot of reading that I've done, the British did a lot of public relations in helping Europeans
policies of governments. What is the policy of the government of Turkey? This is what decides the issue. What is the policy, official policy of the government of the UK? What is the policy of the United States? The nationalists, they may cause once in a blue moon some big problem, and yet behind these nationalists are plans. I mean, in Cyprus, the extremists in 1974, yeah, they were there because there was a plan outside Cyprus to overthrow Parliamentary. So let's not go to. They bring me this argument because they don't come out very clearly to say how my government has this policy and this policy and that policy. The policy of Turkey never changed. The policy of Turkey was to absorb that part of Cyprus, and if we give them the chance to go more. The policy of Turkey is to have a role in Eastern Mediterranean.
We know that,
yes.
But we need the British to do something to educate people and understanding that there is this understanding of British media, British people now to occupy Cyprus. They think, oh yeah, the Greeks did this and
We'll give you this two more questions.
University of Nottingham. I was encouraged by two particular things you said. One was that the nationalism has now been subsumed into the European agenda. And the second was your attempt to get international experts to go into the town and survey the current condition of the land. In 2005, I organised a conference in Belfast. We talked about that earlier. And I invited mayors of formerly divided cities to come and talk to us about how they resolved their problems. We had somebody from Belfast, from Berlin, from Mitrovica, and we had your predecessors from Famagusta, and also the then mayor of Nicosia. I failed to get Jerusalem, but you can't have everything. I think the EU, through its framework programmes, does offer an opportunity to actually look at Famagusta and come up with solutions for that town. Last week we heard the Brownfield Agenda. We're talking about planning in this country. Famagusta offers a global opportunity to look at how you will revitalise a large area in a way that's never been done before. And to go back to our Turkish Cypriot colleague who's gone, it can also be, I think you're absolutely right, it's much cheaper for me to go and drink beer with the Germans through the inefficiency of EU-funded research than it is to go and shoot them. And I think once you drink beer and Turkish coffee with people, then you begin to realise that actually you can perhaps live together in Famagusta. I can't talk about the national or the international politics, but as an academic, there is a lot that Famagusta has to offer, and a lot that the EU research infrastructure has to offer us back. So I leave that with an encouragement to you to try and pursue those efforts.
I know that last meeting you had, I think it was Belfast, or Dublin,
no, it was in Belfast, actually.
Belfast.
We drank Guinness, but it was very well. That's the man.
He told me all about it. The thing is living together. No problem in living together. The problem is the Turkish army. The Turkish Cypriot is an excuse. It's an alibi for Turkey to occupy Cyprus. I have no doubt they live together and nobody will kill Turkish Cypriots. They have a bigger problem of Greeks killing each other than Turkish Cypriots. It's a question of Turkish army and Turkish police on the side. And whoever takes for the two communities living together, this is a fair story. This is a fair story in order not to face the real issue.
Last question.
if we live in a perfect world, you are absolutely right that we live in a perfect world. What we are trying to do is set up a new collaboration. Since 1975, as member of Parliament, as mayor, whatever it is to increase the cost of the Turkish occupation of Cyprus. We must find ways to increase the cost so that eventually we must get rid of the Turkish army from Cyprus. So our effort may be a very difficult effort, is to, in every possible way, to increase the cost of the Turkish occupation. And Famagusta, and the cost down of Famagusta, is one of the best ways to increase that cost.